In this video, I interview serial entrepreneur and best-selling author Peter Voogd, and he talks about how to build a polarizing personal brand that rises above the noise, his social media tips, and how to design a business and a lifestyle on your own terms. Man, super pumped to have you on the show. Now, Peter is a serial entrepreneur, best-selling author, leading authority to millennials, pumping out a lot of great content and doing some really cool things on social media with video. And one of the things that you've done, that I respect is the brand you've built, whether that's from your website to your photography, to your videos, to your content. And so let's talk a little bit. Everyone in the influencers community wants to build a strong brand. I want to go back. You talked about polarizing. That's a powerful principle, but let's talk a little bit about how do you build a powerful brand leveraging social media, and what are some of the things you're doing, especially this is video influencers. You're doing Instagram stories, you're using Google Hangouts, and so we could break that all down. But what are kind of the first steps of building a standout, powerful brand online?
I think there's a couple steps. First is, for me, and what I've really believe in, is you have to get some results first. You have to figure out what industry you're going to dominate, what topic you want to really master. I wanted to impact and inspire and help millennials, not because I'm like, that sounds cool to impact millennials. It's because when I was 21 through 28 through 27, I wanted to impact because I was running a sales team. I broke a lot of records as a sales rep being a millennial. And then I was able to train millennials while I was still a millennial and break a lot of other records as a district manager and do almost 9 million. So I knew, unlike anybody else that I knew of, how to motivate and inspire people to the umpth degree. Like, I was taking kids that dropped out of school that had no business succeeding and making them 6 figures because they followed my roadmap. And I knew how to motivate them. I would get 70 or 80 young entrepreneurs, like at our office. We had an office space, 2,000 square foot, and they would come in the morning, Sean, and they would make calls to their leads at like 7 in the morning. Their parents could not get them to make their bed. And I'm getting these kids that some of them were lazy up at like 6:30 to come to the office to make calls to crush it. I gave them a purpose and a reason to chase their dreams. So I knew that very few people could actually motivate and inspire young people. So that's why I did that. So the first step is you have to get real results. Yeah. There's a lot of younger people that are like, I'm a coach, I'm a life coach, I'm this. It's like, no, you can't do that if you have no results. Yeah. You have 20 grand. What do you mean you're a life coach? Yeah. I think someone that coaches you about life should probably have a great life. Right. So first is like getting real results. I think a lot of people try to do it without getting real results. I want to be an influencer, I want to write books, but you got to figure out what you're going to do that's polarizing, that actually you've done, that people can respect you. That's the first. Second is, like you said, have a polarizing point of view that sometimes might offend people. You have to know yourself at a high level when you're building a brand, and you have to figure out what's going to make your brand different, where if someone's like, why should I choose your brand, or why should I follow you, why should I choose your product, your service, versus every other product or service that does what you do on the market? There's 1,000 video influencers. Why should I watch your stuff? Yeah. And you have to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here's why. Most people can't differentiate. And the biggest differentiator is figuring who you are at the deepest core, because that's when you're going to inspire the most people, is when you're not like somebody else. A lot of people are following different people like Gary Vee and Grant and even me, and they're trying to be a certain person. Don't do that, because then you're not authentic. So for me, when I started to follow other people and take things from each person and not really know myself and took a lot of opinions, my brand wasn't growing. So right when I started figuring out who I was, what was my mission, what was I excited about, what was my polarizing point of view that might offend people, but it's going to deepen your connection with your audience at a higher level. It's always better to be loved or hated than tolerated. Yeah. Like, and a lot of people want to be tolerated because they want to please everybody. And if you want to please everybody, you'll never build a polarizing brand. Like, look at LeBron James, look at Richard Branson, look at Elon Musk, look at Donald Trump, like look at Kobe Bryant. It's like, they're the best ever. I love them. Dude, they're the worst person on the planet. Yeah. I want to kill them. Love and hate, yeah. That's just, no one's like a legend. Like, oh yeah, he's all right. It's like a strong point of view. Yeah. That's how you have to be as a brand, is you have to be polarizing and figure out what pisses you off. That's super strong. And we always talk about the quote from Sally Hogshead that is, different is better
then better.
100%.
Right? And so there's a couple big, powerful takeaways there. I think, number one, you didn't just pick millennials.
No.
But a lot of people talk about motivation and entrepreneurship, but as soon as you added that millennial distinction, now you stand out more. You're not just motivation and entrepreneurship, a more smaller audience. So influencers, how can you narrow down your audience? But by tapping into your actual experience, so you have some real credibility. And then let's talk a little bit about what you're actually doing. So you're using Instagram. What are some of the platforms? How are you picking what platforms you're on? And what's some of the strategy behind what we see? And I want to encourage you guys, of course, we'll link all of Peter's stuff up in the description, but you can see Instagram stories, see your page. What's the thinking behind how you're building your brand, what platforms, and your strategies there?
Because you're asking good questions, I'll share stuff I never share. That's like kind of like a little ninja moves behind the scenes. But one, you have to do your due diligence, do your research. We've done so much surveying and research. Like our email list is over 100,000. We've interviewed them multiple times, like surveying exactly what they want, what they need, where they're at, what they're looking at, what they don't like, what they like what drives them, how long the content should be, what content out there do they hate, why. So we've done that for years. So I think we have an edge because we're researching. And here's the biggest thing I think that why entrepreneurs fail when they're building, whether it's videos, whether a brand, whether it's social media, whether it's content, is the likelihood of the marketplace responding because you want something or because you think they like something is zero. And they're like, I think they might like this content. I think, no. That's a quick way to get no influence. Instead, figure out what the customers want or what your target audience wants, what they're thinking, get inside their head, think about what they're laying in bed at night thinking about, what do they need help with, what inspires them, what is their trends, and actually delivering on that. And people always talk about like their expertise. No one really cares unless you understand them and you can help them. So a lot of people try to put out their expertise, one. They try to put out content that people think they want, but they don't ever do any research. So for us, we do a lot of research. We know a lot of our audience is on Instagram, and we know a lot of our audience is on Facebook. It was on Snapchat. Snapchat obviously is not doing as well, but we still get on Snapchat. So we test a lot with different platforms. The biggest thing we've done, I value my time at the highest level because I can't get that back. I'm sure you do and everyone watching this does. So we try to streamline. So what we've done this last probably 2 years that I don't see many people doing is we streamline our content to where, let's say I have an interview with Elon Musk coming up, which is crazy.
Sick.
Next year. And let's say I interview like a Grant or an Eric Thomas or something. I'll interview him in person or on video, and then my team will take that video and they'll chop it up into Instagram snippets, the best possible content. They'll take a minute of it. And then they'll do swipe ups for stories. And this is all one video. And then they'll take it and I'll have my copywriter write an article. And we have contracts with Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc., Forbes, all that stuff. So we take the article and then we push it to them and they push it out. And then we create Twitter snippets, and then we also create Facebook videos. We boost those and we make it a YouTube video. And then we take the audio and make it a podcast. So there's one content that's 45 minutes of me and him talking, and it's like 10 different places. So now it spreads to 10 different places with me spending 45 minutes, so I don't duplicate the content. And that's something I think people should be doing more of, is streamlining their content and then figuring out where their target audience is by testing and experimenting. We've done a lot of that.
At the end of the day, when you start building something, eventually you're gonna get punched in the face. Eventually you're gonna have that time where maybe you're on the top, but you also just like, man, I wanna quit. And so can you share a final word for those going through it, wherever they're at?
One, tough times don't last, tough people do. And realizing that the tougher your struggles, the more exciting your successes will be. And I challenge them, like you said, your back's against the wall. I challenge you not to wait till your back's against the wall. Not to wait till you're running out of money. Not to wait till your kids don't know who you are. Not to wait until you have health problems. I would tell you that the number one reason people don't succeed these days is they never tell themselves right now matters. Now matters more than ever, because if you maximize now and today, tomorrow takes care of itself. So just telling yourself, not in 2 hours, not tomorrow, like right now, after this exact video, what are you gonna do different? While most people escape reality, go watch TV or go talk a lot, what are you gonna do to actually give yourself the best possible advantage to succeed as an influencer? Because most people wanna succeed and they feel like they need to succeed, but they don't deserve it based on their actions. So I tell them now matters more than ever. Not tomorrow, not next week, don't live on someday I'll. Now matters. If you take care of now, most people spend the first half of their life saying they're too young, and the second half they're like, I'm too old. Don't be like most people.
Yeah.
I challenge you to level up and rise above the noise, because people need you.